Northeastern Jackson County, and more specifically the 6 Mile area in and around Fort Osage, was entirely once the western frontier. Though the families that would come to create, teach, and attend the one-room schoolhouse known as Combs School were, and many continued to be, long-term residents of the area. It was, however, by all standings in its beginnings, the western wilderness. As more families settled into the area, there was quickly a need for formal education for their children. In 1870, John and Mary Phipps gave a 1-acre parcel to the community for the construction of a one-room schoolhouse by the name of Combs School. The deed recorded on April 4, 1870, designate that the Phipps conveyed the property for the sum of $1 to the School Board of School Township Number 50, Range Number 30, for the use of said school township of the County of Jackson in the state of Missouri. Most of the 16 one-room schoolhouses used to educate the children in northeast Jackson County are now gone. In their beginnings, rural schools were ran with community funds while parents paid for books and sometimes the teacher's salary as well. In the 1950s, funding for public schools changed, giving way for the formation of the Fort Osage School District and the construction of large elementary schools and a high school. All 16 one-room schoolhouses were closed. Today, driving eastbound on 24 Highway towards Buckner, you might never even realize that you are driving atop the site of one of those schools. At the southwest corner of Lake City Valley Road and 24 Highway once stood Combs School. Combs School's teachers were often local members of the community and often young themselves. An 1885 picture of the school lists the teacher as 16-year-old Janie Childs, who later in life taught math at William Chrisman High School in Independence. Her students, many relatives of her own, and many known family names still residing in the Fort Osage area. Some of the streets we drive on or by every day are named after those families. The school contained all the essentials of a one-room schoolhouse: desk, blackboards, chairs, wood stove, and an organ. Originally, this organ was a gift to a young lady by the name of Sarah Burnley White from her father, Mora Burnley, in 1932. According to Sarah's daughter, Carol White Shropshire, her mother attended Combs School from 1923 to 1931. The Burnley family farm was about 1.5 miles from Combs School. Sarah would walk to school or sometimes be driven by her father. Carol was given the organ in 1975 before her mother's death in 1987. Students of Combs School, much like all one-room schoolhouses of the day, were responsible for providing their own study material in the years before public funding in education. Most studied from what were called readers. Combs School specifically used the following in 1899: Franklin Readers, Seaver Spellers, Milne's Arithmetic, and Rand McNally Geography. As readers were expensive, they were rarely kept in the possession of the book's first owner, however passed down from child to child, relative to relative. When a family couldn't afford to purchase one, Bibles or magazines were something to take to school and to read from.
I'm Sam Smith. I graduated from Fort Osage in 1960, and I started my school year at Combs School up on 24 Highway. And my experience there was at the beginning of a school was new to me, and my brother was 3 years older than me and had already attended, so I felt comfortable about going to that school. And our walk to school, in the summertime we walked, and it was my first experience of getting sandburrs in my socks. And I remember Mrs. Carmine was a wonderful teacher. I remember having to stand in the corner at one time where I guess I wouldn't open my mouth too often. So it was a learning experience for me to go to school.
The memories and stories of Combe School are still alive to this very day in the form of a constantly evolving and progressing school district. When we drive by one of our schools, when we attend a play or a sports event, hear the marching band fill the fields with song, or even sit in a classroom absorbing the education that will carry with us for the rest of our lives, we can know and understand that these experiences all had a beginning. Whether a resident of our district has roots a day long or 150 years long, knowing our history and how we came to be who we are today is what makes us a strong, thriving community for generations to come.
Red and white her banner is, proudly does it fly. O'er the home of fellowship, our dear Fort Osage high. Faithful are her servants, always there to try, to help her be